Welcome to Love Them Tender, where we find the love in big-hearted books, movies, and TV. I'm Alexandra Hidalgo, and I am so glad you're here. Last fall, we decided to binge Stranger Things, and we had the best time ever, and we got to watch the finale with everybody else for the whole series. And then we were like, what? We need more Millie Bobby Brown. So we decided to watch the Enola Holmes Trilogy. We watched them all in a row, and we're gonna share our thoughts with you. We have different opinions on what works and what doesn't, and what we loved and what we loved less. So stay with us and tell us what you think. What are your thoughts on the Enola Holmes Trilogy? The Enola Holmes series is based on a 10-book series by Nancy Springer, who is also one of the co-writers of the screenplays. And it's very exciting because we may have 7 more Enola Holmes movies to come. And of course, it stars the ever brilliant, and now she actually speaks as opposed to in Stranger Things, Millie Bobby Brown. But she's just as badass as 11 was. She doesn't have her magical powers, but she's got a brilliant brain, and she's very strong. And like 11, she also struggles with expressing her emotions and with building relationships. A lot of girls who are as badass as Enola and 11 are struggle with that because the world pushes women usually to be very feminine, and you can see that as blending with weakness, this femininity. And in their case, and certainly in Enola Holmes's case, it can also be a source of power, but only if she lets it. It's a great conflict for a character. The trilogy was directed by Harry Bradbeer, who also directed Fleabag, and there's a lot of similarities between Fleabag and Enola. They break the fourth wall all the time, they talk at the camera, they're wounded and unstoppable and cheeky. They're great. So you can see how this is his style, and it works really well for Fleabag, but it also works really well for a young girl. And one of the things that I really appreciate about the trilogy is that it weaves really dark themes in our history as human beings into it, but it doesn't do it as just window dressing. It really weaves them in. So we have a historical look at the labor movement in the second movie and how it started partially with women in a match factory saying enough. Even Moriarty is played by Sharon Duncan-Brewster, and she is a Black woman, and she is mischievous and vengeful and terrifying, but she has real gripes about the way that Black women have been treated, about the way that Black people have been treated, about the way that people who are women and who are not white around the world have been treated. So it gives her character, even though she is really evil, kind of like a moral leg to stand on. The way she's going about it is not the way that you should go about righting those wrongs, but we understand where she's coming from. And that's hard to do in this popcorn movie, but they do it. And it makes for a great historical watch. They go to Malta in the third one, and they look at imperialism and colonialism. It's a great way to introduce your kids to these really complicated concepts in a really fun way, and then you get to talk about them a little more in depth because they did amazing research. And I'm guessing Nancy Springer, the writer, is the one that we thank for that. So thank you, Nancy, and thank you everyone else.
Something I noticed a lot in this series was it gets way better the later it gets. Well, honestly, my favorite was the second one. The third one was better than the first one, though. Probably because some of the bad characters in the first one disappeared in the second and third one. Like Sherlock and Enola's other brother, Mycroft, which he was annoying, and at least he contributed to the story, but I'm glad he wasn't in the last 2 movies. They did mention him, but they didn't show him. Also, her teacher, which she also had in the first movie, which I don't remember her name, was very annoying. And the ends of the movies were good, and the villains were great. I like the second one the most because it had new villains, and the Match Factory, that was a very good plot, and apparently it was a true story, most of it. In general, they were all really good, but the best one was 2.
Let me start by saying that there is nothing wrong with these movies, but I fell asleep for all 3 of them. Do not ask me to watch movies when I'm tired, and I was tired all 3 times. But they're good. They're very good. Very well made. I agree with the general consensus is that they improve from one to the next. They evolve. They did Sam Claflin dirty with the role of Mycroft. It was not a well-written role. He's a good actor. I think he played Finnick in the Hunger Games. Is that right? I think so. Anyways, they owe you one, Sam, if you're listening. But the series is really good. Yeah, I would watch them again. In fact, I hope to, so I can see the things that I missed. But yes, well plotted. I love the relationship between Enola and her brother, Sherlock, not Mycroft, her mother, and whatever his name is. Tewkesbury, yeah. Tewkesbury, the love interest. Yeah, well done. I will look forward to the next one.
The Enola Holmes movies gradually improved from 1 to 3. I personally believe the third one was the best one, the most entertaining. The first one, if you ask me to remember what happened in that movie, the third one was my personal favorite because the mystery was a lot more compelling. I absolutely loved the set design, and having it located in Malta was a very interesting choice that I think worked out a lot. Moriarty was a very terrifying villain in this one. In the previous one, she had a few scenes. It was whatever. They definitely made her character a little more, I don't want to say cartoonish because that doesn't sound very compelling, but it was more of a traditional mystery, which is something that I do enjoy. So third one was the best. Couldn't pay me to remember the first 2.
Thank you so much for watching this video. What is your take on the trilogy? Which of the 3 is your favorite movie? Have you read the books? What do you think about the way they get adapted? How about their tackling of all these really complex topics in a fun, interactive, delightful way that's still getting at some of the darker moments in human history? Let us know your thoughts. Please share, like, comment, and we really appreciate you watching till the end of the video. It makes all the difference, and as always, stay big-hearted.